Welcome everyone, Pablo from Style Systems over here, your exclusive and personal image consultant. For more information, go to stylesystemss.com.mx, where you will find out everything that image consulting is and what I do. Today's topic is about how to deal with being overweight. This is something that is becoming more and more of a threat in the questions that I get asked. I've been asked a lot of how to dress when you're a little bit chubby, how to dress if you are overweight and you have overweight and stuff like that, right? If you have a little bit of extra weight. So maybe if you tune in this and then you watch this video, maybe you will start seeking for, okay, I'm overweight. What do I do if, or what are the magic pills that I can take so I can look phenomenal and feel phenomenal? Before I get into that, I want to analyze a little bit the perception that others will have about you when you are overweight, when you have overweight, right? How others perceive you, and how do you perceive yourself? What are the adjectives that are attached into this image of someone that has overweight? So before I get into the tips of how to look better, even if you are overweight, if you have overweight, how to look good, because I have to emphasize this. For some reason, people that have that, people that are a little bit fat, a little bit chubby, they give excuses. They give a lot of excuses, and they think that they get a pass on looking like shit, literally. It becomes like this sort of negative circle, like a cycle. And it repeats itself again and again and again, and you do not take care of yourself. And you let go of yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You no longer pay attention to how you look. And I will get into that. But this is not, if you're a little bit fat, it's not an excuse for you to look like shit. It's not a fucking excuse. It's not giving you a pass to not take care of yourself, right? It's not giving you a pass. There are some aspects that you need to apply to look and become the best version of yourself. Okay, so let's first analyze the perception of people that have overweight, right? You see, how do you perceive yourself eventually becomes how others perceive you, right? How do you perceive yourself? How do you look at yourself eventually will be how others perceive you, and with those two, then you will start acting in a certain way, right? The way that you perceive yourself is the way that the others perceive you, and the way others perceive you will become how you relate to them. How do you relate to the world and to your daily activities? So this is very important. How do you look at yourself, right? Sometimes we have a lot of, we tend to be very hard on ourselves, all right? It's not about having the perfect body. This video is not about, it's not about giving excuses and not taking care of yourself, but I will give you some insights on looking at your best even though you don't have the six-pack and all that. So let's analyze first the positive traits of how others perceive people with overweight, that have overweight. Because believe it or not, there are some positive aspects that people relate with being fat. And it sounds very fucking funny. I'm not giving excuses on this. I'm not giving you a pass, but it is fucking funny. This is based not on personal opinions. This is based on studies that were found on, the nutrition from different institutions. So I would suggest that you make your own fucking research. If you don't believe me, all of my videos are open for you go make your own research. Not open for debate. I don't want to debate with you, but you go make your own research. So the first thing that people relate overweight people with overweight man or a woman, how they think of them positively, the positive aspects are they relate them with happiness. They relate them with happiness because think about fucking Santa Claus. Think about Santa Claus, right? He's fucking chubby, he's fucking fat, right? He's a little bit chubby. And we relate that with happiness, with like abundance. There's another word that people relate overweight with. Abundance, being like a gourmet or like a gourmandise, which means being like a sybarite. If you don't know what that is, then make your own research again. Someone that enjoys the good life, enjoys the pleasures of life. You know, someone that takes pleasure in drinking fine wine, in eating good food, and you know, someone that is living the good life. Sometimes people that are a little bit fat, they, depending on the height, they can intimidate others because they are too big, and then sometimes also they are related with being kind, being very open, like being the cute little guy, you know, like the chubby friend that everybody has, like, oh, you know, he's a good guy, you know, he's a good guy, like being gentle and stuff like that. And that's, in quotes, the positive aspects of that, how people relate being overweight with that. Okay, now let's cover the negative aspects. The negative aspects are people perceive others that have that are a little bit chubby or fat. They perceive them as being people that are not reliable. They perceive them as being like someone that is letting himself go, right? Inside of the minds of others. And this has nothing to do with being a hater or anything like that. People perceive them as, you know, if he or she is not taking care of him or herself, then I'm not able to count on him. You know, he's not reliable or she's not reliable. This is something subconscious. I'm not saying that it is good or bad. I'm saying that this is subconscious. This happens subconsciously. People make these judgments. And again, do your own research. I did not create this. I did not invent this. So people also start treating others that have overweight like a disease. These are the negative aspects. I've already covered the positive. The negative aspects are people start treating them like they have some sort of a problem and they have some sort of disease. So they treat them like that, like, oh, you know, you're not able to come and play football with us. Oh, you know, we were gonna go, I don't know, hiking, but you know, they start treating you differently. They start treating them differently. Another thing that people relate them with, it's less efficiency, because people that have overweight or obesity, they become a little bit less mobile, less active, right? They are not able to reach different, you know, to move very fast and very quickly. So people tend subconsciously or unconsciously tend to relate them with being less efficient. Another thing that people relate them with to being they have lack of self-esteem or being frustrated. When you see someone a little bit fat, you in your unconscious mind, you start relating him or her with being a little bit frustrated or being having lack of self-esteem. And then of course, last but not least, like that person is not taking care of himself, right? Like being sloppy. Because now I talk the positive traits and the negative traits that happen with this. I am not giving a pass, or I'm not saying that this is something good and I'm saying this is something bad. Because what happens when you learn about imagology or learn about the power of image, it's completely relative. This is not about something being better or something being worse. But we should analyze a little bit the perception of being overweight or being a little bit fat. If you know, if it's affecting you on your health and then also on your perception, then you should change it. You should change it. And I have been a little bit overweight, right? I'm not saying that I've never been fat. I was fat for a time, but so no, I'm not here passing on judgment. I'm saying in my own way that I kind of get it. You know, sometimes you find yourself in a cycle. You don't even realize that sometimes you're fat because you live a sedentary life. I don't know how to say that in English. You know, maybe you are in front of a computer all of the time. You go into the office and you have a routine that is not allowing you to be more active. So all of a sudden you find yourself with being a little bit overweight. And it's a cycle, because what happens is when you are overweight, sometimes you don't find, you struggle finding clothes that actually fit you, right? And then that adds up to your own perception, because if you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't have clothes that actually fit your body, you're gonna feel bad about yourself and you're gonna try to hide it. You're gonna try to hide yourself. And that is going to add to not taking care of yourself. So it becomes this horrible negative cycle of not taking care of yourself because you don't want to bring attention, because you're like finding excuses because you don't have the time to go to the gym, and if you go to the gym you don't even have the clothes to go to the gym because you don't find clothes that actually fit your overweight body. So you find yourself in a circle, in a cycle that is very difficult to get away from. You know, it's a matter of habits. So think about this before you start saying like, well, there's this new trend of we don't care if we're fat or skinny, it's about accepting yourself. Yes, but you should analyze the perception that you're giving, because if this affects you, not only your own perception, meaning maybe you get a little bit sad, maybe you don't like what you see, not only that, but if it's affecting you in socially and professionally, then it is something that you should be taking care of. It's something that is worth paying attention to. Because it is, right, let's say that somebody approaches me and say, well, you know, Pablo, it's completely okay. I understand the negative aspects of being overweight and the positive aspects of how others perceive me and how I perceive myself. I understand that. However, I have a lot of self-esteem and I don't give a fuck about being a little bit chubby or not. I don't give a fuck because I love myself so much and I have a huge self-esteem and confidence, so I don't give a fuck. Okay, then let's analyze the professional and social aspect of it. You see, 8 out of 10 people that suffer or have overweight, they have difficulties on approaching others. They have difficulties on socializing with other people. 8 out of 10. Because of the way they perceive themselves and because of the way that they know how others perceive them. They know that people make fun of them. They know that, you know, stand-up comedians, they make fun of chubby people. They know that a lot of people are making fun of them. And so they get inside of their own minds, and they know that they're not able to move very quickly and stuff like that. So they tend to avoid certain activities, which brings them into this fucking negative, horrible cycle again. So they try to hide themselves. They try to avoid social encounters because they are too conscious about themselves. And, you know, they try to avoid that. So 8 out of 10 people like that with overweight, they have difficulties on finding a new partner or simply socializing because they are not comfortable in their own skin. Then another thing is that it's completely different finding an overweight, let's say, lawyer. A lawyer that is a little bit chubby. A lawyer that has overweight. It's completely different finding someone like that than going to a fitness coach and looking at that fitness coach and he suffers from overweight and he's fat and he's chubby. Well, you see, that will not be congruent, all right? I'm not telling you that you should be fat or you should be skinny. I'm telling you to analyze the perception behind this. Analyze it from a scientific, in quotes, point of view, right? Analyze it from the view of an image consultant, not from moral or ethic points of view, all right? So if you find someone like a nutrition coach or a fitness coach that has overweight, you know, or is overweight, you know, you're not gonna pay attention to that person. You will be like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. If you find someone that is, let's say, a financial advisor, whatever the fuck you pronounce that, financial advisor that is a little bit chubby, well, we don't give a fuck about that. On the contrary, we actually relate that person with abundance. So if you're about to coach me on how to be abundant, maybe I will pay more attention to you. Or a chef that is a little bit chubby, that will make a lot of sense, right? So this is relative. So before you get into these moral points of view and before you start criticizing and saying, well, you know, fuck this and fuck that and I don't agree with what you're saying, pay attention to how this is going to affect you positively and negatively in your professional life, in your social life, and in your entire existence. If you like what you see, because I'm gonna give you some tips. If you like what you see in front of the mirror and you're like, okay, you know, this doesn't affect me socially, this doesn't affect me professionally, and I don't have a problem being a little bit fat, good. Then my advice as your exclusive image consultant would be to pay attention to what you wear. There are certain things that you can wear to look better, all right? There's a lot of people out there, whether they're skinny, fat, whatever, they don't know how to dress their body properly. All right, so I'm gonna give you some recommendations, very quick recommendations, because I'm taking too long making this fucking video. Actually, I wrote them down. So if you are okay being overweight, then think about vertical and horizontal lines. Now, when it comes to horizontal and vertical lines, I'm not referring only with the patterns of the clothes, you know, like stripes, you know. Oh, if I get a shirt that has vertical stripes, then I'm achieving whatever it is that I want to achieve. No. When it comes to fashion, not only with the patterns you create vertical and horizontal optical illusions. No, you also do it with, let me give you an example. If you wear a bright color on the, you know, if you contrast the color that you're wearing on your pants and then on the top, that on the middle is creating a horizontal line. Let's say white pants and then black shirt. The contrast is creating a horizontal line. And horizontal lines widened. Horizontal lines, they make you wider. Vertical lines, they make you taller and slimmer, right? So pay attention to that. The cut of your clothes, all right? If you have overweight and then you want to wear a double vest suit, right? Like this, like the crossed suit with bigger lapels and shit like that, that is going to create the illusion that you're bigger than you are. So stay away from them. Search for cuts that are more vertical, that are more elongated, like three-button suit. Three-button suit that is creating more of a vertical line. You get what I'm saying? Another thing that I would say, let's talk about colors. We've always heard that, you know, bright colors, they bring attention, and dark colors, they kind of hide. They kind of hide you. Well, there's this idea in fashion that black makes you look thinner, and it's not that black makes you look thinner. It's that black is avoiding attention. So my suggestion would be to wear monochromatic colors. So outfits, instead of wearing the white pants and the black shirt, I would say go all black or go all gray, go all color navy. That will give the illusion that you're creating a vertical line, and it will elongate your figure and it will make you look thinner. All right? Think in terms like that. Avoid a lot of volume, and by volume I mean that if you know, I have something right here. If you put this in here, I'm creating a lot of volume, right? I'm creating more volume. Look at this, right? So if you have overweight, or if you are a little bit chubby, then what you want to avoid is exactly this. You do not want to add more volume into the body that you already have, all right? Pay attention to that. The texture of your clothes. If the clothes that you're wearing have a lot of texture, you know, like patterns and textures, and the fabric of the clothes adds volume, then you're gonna create the illusion that you're bigger than you already are. All right. So avoid that. Go for more thinner fabrics that will give the illusion of being slimmer and taller and thinner and all of that. Last but not least, the fit. Wear things that actually fit you. Now, if you are big, if you are extra large, that's okay. That's completely okay. If the size of your clothes are extra large, wear extra large, okay? Don't try to wear, especially women, you know, they try to wear like medium size. Oh, I'm a medium size, when in reality they are extra large, because they think that by wearing something smaller, they will keep everything like tightened, you know, like a fucking sausage. No offense, but you know, maybe that's what they're thinking. And I've had clients that they actually thought that, you know, like they're keeping everything inside. And no, actually what you are giving the impression that you don't know your body well enough, and you are showing all of your, you know, love handles and everything. So don't wear smaller size, don't wear bigger size, because that's the other thing that always happens. People that have overweight, people that are a little bit fat, a little bit chubby, they tend to hide themselves by wearing bigger clothes, because they think that by wearing bigger clothes than their body, it's gonna hide the love handles, it's gonna hide the belly that they have. but you are creating the illusion of being bigger. So don't wear bigger sizes. Even if you are fat, don't wear bigger shit. Wear things that fit you. There are specific clothes and there are specific brands that focus on this, all right? It's not a matter of being thinny or skinny or thin or fat. It's a matter of knowing your proportions and your body so you can dress them accordingly, all right? And what else? Oh, avoid curves. Let me give you an example. This is the last example that I want to give because I can go on and on and on and on. Let's say that you buy a t-shirt. Avoid the t-shirt that is round necks. Avoid round cuts, all right? Avoid round cuts. Avoid round shit, round fashion, because that will simply frame more of the body that you have. So if you have a circular face and then you wear a circular neck, is going to emphasize it even more, all right? So what you want to do is you want to wear more V-necks, more structure lines, right? Things that, you know, imagine if my suit the button of my suit will be up here. That will make me, if I was fat, that will make me look even bigger. So what I would want to do is have a deeper V-neck, right? A deeper V-neck. Now, even if you look at my tie is a skinny tie. It's more skinny. It's not that big fucking with a huge necktie and shit like that. You want to avoid that, right? Because that will bring a lot of attention and that will make you look even bigger. So you want to use these optical illusions to create the visual, what do you say? The visual illusion that you're thinner and smaller and taller and more elongated. So wear V-necks, wear things that emphasize it, you know, that they bring the attention even more down, so you can you elongate your figure, right? And yeah, go for darker colors and stuff like that. So hopefully this brings a little bit of attention on this subject that I don't see enough stylists talking about. I see a lot of people just saying that, well, I'm fat or I have this and I don't give a fuck and I accept myself in the way I am. Yes, but that is, to me, the way that I see it, it's just you know, saying that you have a problem with that, but you're just putting on a facade, saying that, oh, I don't care, but inside of you, you know that you do care, all right? So don't lie to yourself. Lie to others, okay, that's completely up to you, but don't lie to yourself. If you have a problem with that, then, you know, I'm not going to tell you that there's a magical formula to be thin or anything. Just, you know, go to the gym, eat properly. It's entirely relative to you. It's entirely up to you, to the time that you have, to the job that you do and stuff like that. But pay attention, bring your attention to the perception of having overweight, how others perceive you, how you perceive you, and how this is affecting you professionally, socially, and personally, right? And if you don't have a problem with that, then follow these steps. You know, avoid bright colors and all of these tips that I just gave you, so that you can project yourself in the best way possible, because eventually you want to become the best version of yourself, even if you are the way that you are, right? If you love yourself in that way, then simply adjust yourself. Be like a tailor and adjust everything so you can wear it properly, everything, all right? With that, I'm going to leave you. Become the best version of yourself. If you have more questions, send them to me and I will make videos. I will make more videos about the questions that I've been getting. And I will see you, my friends, on the next one.